Hi there, Tier 2 Engineering here, and I want to give you a quick review on how to set up your remote destination. You'll hear it called Mobile Connect, single number reach, as well as SIM-ring in the Cisco community. So this is for the EFT internal customers, which is us, Verizon. And let's get to work here. So I have a new tab, and then I'm going to connect up to the call manager, what we call the call manager user pages. So these are the pages in contrast to the administration pages where you configure Communication Manager. This is the user pages where you web into the same system, but you have different configuration options and a subset only to your particular user as far as the Communication Manager options and features. So I'll go to the Communication Manager. Now this particular address will not be the same. You'll get your address to the Communication Manager via email. That will come from the Tier 2 group. So without further ado, let's go into this. You might get a certificate error there, and I shouldn't have got that. Oh, I did that wrong. I apologize. Let's do that one more time. IP address, and then this is going to be CUCM user. So that URL again should come via email, so you'll be able to click it and get right to this Communication Manager user options page. And I'm going to log in with my credentials. Once I get in there, I see that I have a few options. I only have one menu here. Device, these are the particular devices that I'm in control of, phones, things like that. My particular user settings, directory settings, that's where I get my directory of users. In our environment, we have LDAP integration, so this is all coming from an Active Directory where we have the numbers stored and things like that. Personal address book, if I want to create a personal address book. Fast dials, similar to speed dials, but I kind of a little abbreviated dialing, like I can push fast dial and 1-2 to dial my wife, or fast dial and 1-3 to call my mom, things like that. And then mobility settings. And mobility settings is what we're going to go into if I want to set up my single number reach, SIM-ring, Mobile Connect, whatever people call it. Basically, you want your cell phone to ring when someone calls your office phone, and you're wanting to transfer transparently from your cell phone to your office phone and vice versa. So in mobility settings, I'm going to go to Remote Destinations. I'm going to click Find here just to make sure I don't have any there, and I don't have any configured. I'm going to add New. I'm going to name it, and I'll say Anson. Let's see, Anson's, personal cell phone. We'll call it that. Now, this directory number is exactly the directory number that you would use to call out if you picked up your IP phone. So, in our case, it's going to be 9 to get an outside line, right? And then my phone number is 832-492-9359. That's my personal phone number. So answer too soon. These are some a little ambiguous here, but the only one you really need to set is probably this one right here. Answer too soon means if your cell phone answers too soon, that probably indicates you're out of battery, you have it off, or something like that. So these are milliseconds, so that's 1.5 seconds. I usually leave that at default. Seems to work pretty well. Answer too late is the opposite of that. So we want to make sure to be able to pull that number or pull that ringing back before it answers and goes to your cell phone voicemail. And then the delay before ringing, this is the delay that your IP phone is going to ring before you want your cell phone ringing. So best practice here, I should say, Tier 2 best practice here is to set that thing to 0. So as soon as someone rings my IP phone, I want to send a call out to my cell phone at the same time. I want them to simultaneously ring. I don't want it to kind of do a hunt style. I could set that up with several remote destinations, but usually we're going to have one phone that we want to simultaneously ring or transfer back and forth to from work phone to cell phone. And then remote destination profile, this should be set up for you. So I have one set up, and you will have one set up. It may be, it may not say answers remote destination profile, but we'll definitely make it evident that it's yours, either with your name or all users or something like that, and we'll set that up most definitely in the next few days or before we send out an email for you to configure this stuff on your own. Mobile Connect and enable Mobile Connect, mobile phone, enable mobile. You want to click both of these to enable this functionality. So basically these are, again, a little unclear. Mobile phone is going to enable you to send, if you pick up a call on your IP phone, you're going to be able to send the call to this number through the mobility button on your IP phone. Again, checking this box is going to enable you to send a call from your IP phone to this particular number via a mobility button on your IP phone. The Enable Mobile Connect button is going to enable that simultaneous ring that I was speaking of. So if I click this button only, what I'm going to get is, if I pick up a call on my IP phone, I will be able to, or someone calls me on my IP phone, the only phone it's going to ring is my IP phone. And then from my IP phone, if I'm leaving because I have to go to my son's soccer game and I'm on a conference call, I will be able to hit the mobility button on my IP phone and send call to remote destination, which will be my cell phone, and my cell phone will ring. I can answer it. I'll be on the same call, and I can leave to go see my son's soccer game, and I'll still be on that particular call, conference call, what have you. Enable Mobile Connect. Now, if I have this one checked also, one more thing. With Mobile Phone Connect, I'll also be able to do the reverse of that. So if I click the mobility button, click the option to send call to my cell phone, I can also hang up my cell phone, and I have 10 seconds to resume the call on my IP phone. In other words, when I leave, I push my mobility button, I send call to my cell phone, I pick up my cell phone, I go down to my car, I'm going to my son's soccer game, I forget my keys, or somebody says, I really need a particular document from you that's, and I say, well, I left my laptop in my office, I got to go back to my office, and I find myself buried in another conversation where I need to get back on my PC, I need to get back on my IP phone. I can hang up my cell phone, and my IP phone will then change its state. It will notice, communication manager will notice that I hung up my cell phone. I have 10 seconds now to push the resume button. So you'll see a resume button appear on your IP phone. You can push resume. Now that call is now transferred from my cell phone to my IP phone, and I can continue the conversation. All right. Now, Enable Mobile Connect. Basically, in a nutshell, you can call this Enable Simultaneous Ring. So if I click this particular button, what's going to happen when I get a call on my business line on my IP phone, it is also going to ring this particular number, of course, based on these parameters, right? And especially this one. When is it going to start ringing? This particular destination, well, I put 0 milliseconds here, so immediately when I get an incoming call on my IP phone, I am also going to get a call or a simultaneous call on my cell phone, and then I can answer at either. And then remember I have the option, no matter where I pick up the phone, since I have mobile phone checked, I can transfer to and from without anybody knowing I've transferred. There would be a small delay there, and I might miss a few words in the conversation or something like that. Anyway, these are pretty self-evident. Ring schedule, what time of days that you want this actual remote destination profile to work. You may not want it to work on weekdays, after 5, before 7, things like that. And then what time zone you're in, you can certainly choose that also. And then you can always ring, or you can ring this destination only if caller is, and then you can pick several access lists here. You can create these access lists, like maybe I want this particular remote destination profile only to happen if my boss calls or my wife calls, or something like that. And the same or the reverse, as far as do not ring this destination if, and I can make some access list, and that's under mobility settings access list. And those are pretty, you can pretty much figure those out. If you need any help, obviously call the Tier 2 group or look for the services and features user guide on Cisco.com. And then I'm going to save this. And the one thing more that I need to do is I need to associate this line. So I need to make sure and do that little check button, or check this little radio button here, and save that. Okay, this particular line is made via an administrator configuration in the background in the CUCM administrator pages. So all this needs to be set up. There's some setup in the background that needs to be there before you're able to do your remote configuration, and then that configuration associated with your particular line on your IP phone. Anyway, I think that's it for now. That's part 1. And part 2, I'm going to show you how this works on the phone and how to transfer back and forth.